Good afternoon. I'm Paul Sommerfeld, and this is my lovely wife, Kate. We have an almost 11-year-old son here at the Pine City Elementary School. Terry asked us to share our perspective on sensory struggles in hopes of bringing some awareness to how changes in routine, specifically ones that happen during the holidays, typically make school a huge struggle for kiddos like ours. Our son may seem very normal on the outside, but he actually has several complex diagnoses that dramatically affect his life. He has alcohol-related neurodevelopment disorder, autism, an anxiety disorder, and a sensory processing disorder, just to name a few. He is also adopted, which means that he has experienced trauma and has altered the way the brain functions, as well as the way he sees the world and how he responds to it. That being said, all of these disabilities physically affect the sensory input and output in his body. Our son's struggles are not uncommon. In fact, in a school this size, it is estimated that anywhere from 11 to 50 children are diagnosed with a disability on the fetal alcohol spectrum. 1 in 59 have autism, 1 in 20 have an anxiety disorder, and 5% have a sensory processing disorder. These statistics include teens, and the numbers are growing. That being said, many of these disabilities go undiagnosed, so the numbers are much higher than what we are aware of. On top of that, almost half of the nation's children have experienced at least one or more type of serious childhood trauma. Again, all of these disabilities and more affect the sensory input and output of the children and teens they reside in. In order to give you a good picture of what we are hoping to shed light on, we would like to show you a demonstration of what we've labeled Don't Shake the Pop.
All right. So from the outside, these look pretty similar. We can agree with that, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's little differences, but for the most part, they are red oven mitts. Perfect. This is how a lot of people just look at children. From the outside, as long as there's nothing drastically going on, everyone seems normal. Everyone's on the same page. We're all good. But underneath, we have some drastic differences in how we process things, in the way things function. I mean, you guys can agree that these are two completely different things. They look different, their function is different, what they have going on is different. So, I mean, for example, if we look at just water, you know, and if I go like this, obviously while I'm shaking this water, there's a lot going on inside of it. But as soon as I stop, it relatively stops in the process. It doesn't change what it has going on. It doesn't change the taste. It doesn't really change anything about the water at all. This is like a child who doesn't have sensory issues at all. During special days or special occasions or changes in routine or Thanksgiving and Halloween and all of these things, sure, in the moment, they have a lot going on. But as soon as routine starts again, they're relatively back to normal. This, on the other hand, already has a lot going on. The carbonation, all the bubbles, not to mention we know how much sugar is in Mountain Dew. It produces energy in itself. And this is like a child who has a sensory processing disorder or any other disorder that affects their senses. They already have a lot going on. Even if I were just to leave this pop right here in its little safe spot, there would be a lot going on already inside without anything happening at all. Well, as soon as children like our child walk into school, this is immediately what starts happening. Just walking in the school building, seeing everything there is to see. And then, my parents dressed up for Halloween. Oh, we're gonna have a 3-day weekend. My teacher's gone today. Oh, look at all these fun things we get to do. We're gonna have a party today. We're gonna have candy. We're gonna do all of these changes in my routine. And that doesn't calm down right away. In fact, all throughout the school day, this never stops shaking. No matter what. Even when our routine is the same, we never stop shaking because we have so much going on inside. Now, if I keep doing this, And I asked one of you to open it.
No thanks.
Any takers? No, because we know that things would go everywhere. Everywhere. So if I opened it, would you guys get mad at me or get mad at the pop? You guys would get mad at me. But many times we get mad at the pop because it's all shook up and it can't handle it anymore. And sometimes the top comes off in school. Sometimes if you're lucky, our son can stuff pretty good. Sometimes if you're lucky here at home, the top doesn't come off until at home. But it comes off eventually. And depending on how shook up it was, it will explode everywhere. And that's the thing about pop. Even after you shake it a lot, it actually changes. You know, it gets flat. You know, this pop is not the same after it's been shook up so much. And it's the same with our kids. They're not really the same after being shook up so much. It physically affects who they are and it alters who they are. So even though fun days and holidays and special things and changes in routine are okay for kids who can handle it, they're really hard on kids who can't.
Alrighty, so all that being said, 4 very important things. 1, be aware, communicate, be proactive, and be adaptable. Awareness is the first step because you can't change what you don't know. Attend trainings, read books, and do research on the disabilities of the children in your sphere of influence. It's important to always be learning and to never believe you have everything figured out. In following the first step, it's crucial to communicate. Ask questions, give feedback, collaborate, and be an active listener. We as parents love to have people inquire on how to be more helpful to us and to our children. It's important for gen ed teachers to be in communication, not only with us as parents on a regular basis, but also with special ed teachers and with the paraprofessionals as well, so that the entire team of people are all on the same page as far as needs and strategies. If we as parents are sending emails and phone calls, please get back to us. Even if that means just letting us know that you received our call and or email, and you'll get back to us as soon as possible. Reciprocal conversations are crucial, and it makes our kids feel safer when they know we're all on the same page. While establishing communication, it's important to be proactive, having a game plan, and actively following it, especially during changes in routine, is so important in helping our sensory sensitive children thrive, even when things are hard. Communicate changes beforehand and figure out as a team how best to handle them. Paraprofessionals, keep in mind just how crucial your role is. We as parents and teachers are counting on you to be 100% proactive at all times in the lives of our kids, under your care in the ways that they need it. Teachers, remember that your role is just as important. It takes a team effort. It takes continual collaboration. It requires continual effort from each and every school day on everyone's part. Lastly, it's so important to be adaptable. Though maintaining routine is to the best of our abilities is necessary, strategies usually change continually and sometimes may seem very out of the box. Please trust us as parents, as we know our children best, even when what we suggest doesn't fit with what you believe. Be willing to do what it takes to help our children grow in the ways they need it. Some solutions may seem extreme or even harsh, such as simply missing out on most fun activities or adapting the changes to fit their needs. But in all reality, children with sensory needs crave routine at all costs. And quite often, missing things often bothers us more than it bothers them. We appreciate your willingness to listen to our thoughts. We appreciate each of you and all the work you put into helping the students under your care. If you have any questions, please feel free to see Terry or to speak to us personally. We are always willing to help. Thank you very much.
Remember, don't shake the pop.
Yay! Really good. That's okay. We can edit. So this is the team. We're one one paraprofessional couldn't make it, but
Yeah.
that was a great analogy. Great.
Yeah? If you guys have any questions for us, that's fine. I don't know what we'll answer, but yeah, we just our sensory kids, like I said, they just don't know, they don't know how to handle it, they can't help it.
Right, and homeroom gen ed teachers, they do so much work to have these fun activities with great intentions, but kids with sensory integration problems, sometimes they look at that and like, whoa, no thanks.
It's way too much for them.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not that they don't, appreciate or enjoy the fun. It's just that their bodies physically can't handle the fun. So if they have experienced it all day, like I said, I mean, they're going to blow up at some point. And so many times if we're not really super aware of what's going on, when they blow up, we're like, what the deal? When we don't realize the whole day has been this. That's hard for us. That's why, our communication sheet that we get is super important, because then we're looking at the big picture of our kids' whole day and going, oh, that's why he came home. Because there was just a lot going on in school today, and no matter how proactive you can be at times, like I said, as soon as these kids walk into school, I mean, this is what it is. I mean, you can't help that. That's just what it's going to be. As soon as they leave their safe spot, it's just the way it goes for them, But the less we can shake the pop, because as Paul was explaining on the way here, of course I'm holding it. I'm like, I'm shaking the pop. He's like, yeah, but you can still open that right now, and that would be okay. So I guess the kind of goal is that at the end of the day, they can still open their bottle, and not everyone's gonna get messed up.
Right?
Because it's gonna open at some point. We would rather have it open than explode,
That's right.
because that would be really bad. Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think of a sensory and don't shake the bottle?
I thought that was a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Word analogy.
I mean, I think
I think it's a really
we knew it, but I think like to see it, like
yeah.
And to hear from parents.
And it's a good Mickey Mouse version for people who haven't had any experience with it.
That's my hope, depending on where you are in your professional development. I know the one thing from the class I took that I thought was interesting, and you know how we have 5 senses? There's really 7 that you have. There's also, besides, the 5, hearing, seeing, touch, taste, smell. The 2 are, one is a muscle movement and kind of where you are in space, and they seem similar, but all those make sense when you see sometimes, not just autistic kids, but just sort of, or being space invaders and always wanted to. Yes, and they really, and that's the one thing I thought, okay, that is making sense. And the other part that I learned that I liked is it said that we all integrate our senses to function. It's kids that have that deficit with your senses, processing and output, may do things that are, you're like, why are you licking everything? I mean, obviously some is behavior and it's hard to separate it, right? I mean, it is truly, truly hard. But the good news is you can do sensory-based activities to help strengthen those connections. So the roads from input, processing to output, I kind of like it become paved and smooth just by doing exercises,
so
activities.
Like, if it's a kiddo that wants to lick everything,
Yes.
do you enforce that or do you take that
Good
away?
question. Because I think it's so tricky that way that they said you really want to bring in the OT person and it's almost like sometimes they're overstimulated and needing or under, and that can change throughout the day, and it's so personal that it's almost like you're thinking that you want to replace it with something, but sometimes you just can't, depending on what they're looking for. I mean, I can think of things he's doing. It's like, well, give him a lollipop. I mean, and that's how it was explained to me in the one class is just, seek out the OT person. That's their training to get these activities, but I don't think they always have the answers, quite frankly. So, I mean,
A lot of trial and error.
It depends on what
is.
they're benefiting from the licking. I mean, Is it taste, is it texture, is it attention? Yeah.
Absolutely, what's the function of it?
Yeah.
So, the part of the class that was, there's 3 parts that, 2 extra senses, making those connections by activities, and it said that honestly, parents know the most about that sensory piece, so just ask them. Which, that's kind of why I brought them in, and I probably will start the presentation with that when I do it, but we'll see. So, that's, it's not part of the criteria for autism, but we consider it, right? Because the 3 core areas are social interaction, communication, and those restrictive or stereotypical behaviors, those behaviors. But we always consider sensory. We just think about it, I guess. So. Yeah. But, did you get anything out of it, Mrs. Arnold? Was it uncomfortable or were you okay? Okay. I wasn't going to tell everyone because I wasn't sure if it would be like, Terry, why are you bringing a parent for our Q&A? And it wasn't that I was hiding, it's just like, what to do to make it comfortable for everybody. But I figured if they're comfortable, then we could be comfortable. But, yeah, that little boy's got a lot going on. So, what do you think?
As a parent, like,
goal?
it's hard to advocate for your kids. Like, that's your job to advocate for your kids, and you need to do it. And to stick, like, I mean, I've dealt with it with Corbin and stuff.
Absolutely.
But it's important for everybody to know what's going on with your kiddo
Good point.
and what.
Yep. And if you can share, to me, that would put yourself out there to be vulnerable. I think that's hard. That's, isn't it hard to? It's hard for me anyway. I don't know, maybe.
You need to put yourself out there, but yet you need to do it so your child can grow and.
Yeah.
So it's productive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put yourself out there, you're always opening yourself up for criticism. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's hard too, because you can't please everybody. You can't, everybody's gonna have, there'll be some people that, so it's hard.
Well, we've dealt with a lot of parents who don't say anything, and then it's like not being able to get that other side of what's going on in their
What's
lives.
going on at home. Yep.
To put these things together.
Absolutely. Yep. For sure. Yep. So.
Yeah, that's why I've always thought, even if the parents and the parents don't talk, I've always thought it's important to have.
Let's go find a.
They need the piece for
I
the
told
school,
you.
but it's just as important for the parents of what's happening at home.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Christy before, and like even at Rush, you've noticed that something was different with the kid.
Yep.
Well, nobody would tell you anything, and if I made him come out like 3-4 days later, oh well, parents decided to change your meds. Well, why didn't somebody say something?
So was it really at Rush City? Because you were a pair there, right?
Yeah, but I only
So-
did special need or one-on-one, like
Yep.
1 year.
Okay.
The rest of it, I was Title I, but I was still interactive with those kids.
Sure. Yeah.
But unless somebody, even with the regular, normal kids,
Yeah.
I mean, one of them would be really off for whatever reason, and I'd go
Yep.
talk to the teacher. I said, I don't know if you're seeing this, but I'm seeing this and this and
Yep.
this, and then
Yep.
she'd be like,
Another set of eyes.
Mom just told me that parents are going through a divorce.
Oh,
Well, that explains a lot.
for sure it does.
It's important for all the kiddos, but especially the ones who are one-on-one, where they are the pop.
Well, and for us to be able to go, if they have this going on at home, it's okay for us to take a break today and to do,
Yeah.
to do something different.
Yep.
And when we don't know that, we have to try to continue.
Knowing is
keeping,
everything. Yep.
And
Right.
we have kids that we don't know things from, and
And that's so hard with data privacy.
Right.
We have our handbook and yep, everything goes through the case manager. However, I know that there's times that you guys are gonna have to get information like moment by moment, so you can do your job. So I always, I just make sure I let Mrs. Lorson know, Steph, it's like, nope. If there's a student who has such needs where they need communication moment by moment to a para, that's what we have to do. And she understands that. I don't know how it's going with, how you can check your emails though. How is that? I mean, how's that going? Or the phones? Give me input.
I'm just breaks and at the end of the day.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything
Well, like
more.
when
Have
I
you
was down
guys
here
heard
and I
anything
sent
more?
her an email.
Yes.
Yep,
Yep,
I
you
haven't
just
heard
told me.
anything, but
Yeah.
I would hold up my thing and put my phone down here and
Yep.
check to see what mom said about
Yep,
it.
yep.
But
Yep.
it's like, okay, well, I am using my phone for work purposes.
Yeah.
I don't.
And if you're in
typically
here, it's,
have
I
it
can,
out.
it's not that I'm not, I don't know, I don't know what to say. I know that there's other parents that are not happy about it. I'm being brutally honest.
Not happy
Well,
with what?
Not having your phone.
My problem is I'm outside with two
And not
kids.
happy or concerned, I
Yeah,
should, not happy,
My
concerned,
thing is I'm outside with two kids,
yes.
and I mean, thankfully, I've been in that situation where I've been
Yeah.
able to get somebody to help me.
Yeah,
But there's been times where prior to this, I needed my phone for it,
Oh, I know.
and so I
And-
feel like it's a safety
I-
thing because one day I had a student running on the west side of the school where no adults would have seen me.
Yeah,
And I would have been out there, thankfully his daycare was with me, but I would have been out there by myself.
Yeah, I-
And what do you do?
and I know
I
that
wouldn't have, what do you do?
well, and we have to have a plan, you're right.
I can't walk away from them, but yet,
Yep, so did,
Somebody needs to-
maybe that's, and mostly I think it would be Wendy and I don't think like the LD teachers probably have that concern, I don't think, and I don't know, well, maybe Brenda, I guess, I don't know. I can't think of anybody on our caseload right now that is a safety thing, so maybe I'll just talk to Wendy and say, you know, what should we do about this, just to help alleviate that concern, cause it's legit, for sure it is.
well, and the teachers are busy even when I'm with the teachers and,
Yeah,
or the
yeah,
title pairs, you know, it's like,
no,
they're busy and sometimes they might not notice me going around the side of the building.
do walkie-talkies, because I don't think.
They're a pain in the butt.
Well, the whole thing is with a walkie-talkie, if you're in a classroom and you have one and it doesn't concern you, everybody in that room is hearing it.
Right. I'm not worried, I mean, in the classroom, you can have the classroom
phone.
teacher call.
Yeah.
I'm thinking outside
Oh,
where
so
there
is it when they
isn't.
come
Or
in to,
the other day, I mean, and granted, this isn't for Jose, but
Right.
the other day when it was the Thanksgiving feast, I was standing in the doorway over there by the title office, and I had grandparents and parents walking by me, and I was trying to get an employee's attention because I was pulling the door shut so my student who was screaming wouldn't go into the
Where you
auditorium.
go in the auditorium.
And I'm waiting for somebody to walk by. The
Yeah.
only person that I could find was Teresa Plajic. I mean, and I couldn't go anywhere. I'm
No,
like waiting.
No, you were like
And so
stuck there.
Teresa Plajic walked by, and I'm like, Teresa, I'm like, I need your help. I know she has like nothing to do with elementary school.
No,
She
but
went into the office, and they
it's a
were
staff
busy
person.
with people lining up. So
Oh, yeah.
she came down here and got somebody, but I mean, I stood there for a good 5
No.
minutes before I had somebody, and the
Yep, yep.
public
yep.
is seeing it at that point.
Yeah, and that's an icky feeling, I think.
And if I would have had my phone, I could have called Jessica and been like,
oh, you should, remember Lainey, kindergarten? Oh my gosh. She'd be right in front of the office door just screaming her head out. And I had people coming, walking by and stuff.
So loud she was.
Oh my gosh.
She cracks me up.
Oh, she's a doll. She's on Facebook all the time now.
I
She
worked
is
with her a
so
couple times
social.
at the high school, and it would be hilarious because she'd be at lunch and all of a sudden she'd just
Oh, yeah.
and everybody'd be like, "What's going
Yeah,
on?"
talk about a sensory trigger.
Oh,
Where were
she
you?
never did that.
yeah.
Oh, she just do it out of the blue. I mean, she was just even by herself because I wasn't like right there
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
She's just funny. She cracks me up.
Oh, it was so
She
fun.
says some crazy things.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Wendy about that. Just find out if,
Well, that and Ann's kid's the same way. He was running down 61 the other day.
Oh, that
Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
that new kiddo.
With his
too.
mom.
What? What do you mean with his mom?
His mom was there too. He didn't want to come to school, so Jackson's and Ann Bird were chasing him down 61.
But he's just a little one, right?
No, Jackson is the big.
He's in
Indian.
first grade. He's young.
First grade Indian kid?
He's Native American.
No,
Or
yeah,
sorry,
but he's
first-
just a little
Native
guy.
American.
I mean, but
It's first
young.
grade.
Young,
Yeah.
yes, young,
Yeah.
but physically
Yeah,
he's a
he's
big kid.
a big dude.
Yep.
Well, and even that new kiddo, he's big. He's a runner too. Yeah. Yeah. And they've got.
Well, Wyatt keeps threatening to go outside, but
Oh,
with as cold as it is, I don't think he will.
He grabbed him.
He'll go.
Oh,
He'll
really?
go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there, we haven't eloped yet, and I don't ever wanna go there, because once he does it, that's in his skill set, right?
Yep.
Right, now he's done it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's come here with all his gear on, and,
Yep.
we just ease in there.
He was standing by door 14 today saying he
Uh-oh.
was gonna go.
I think
Was
we
he
went,
geared up?
this
No.
spring he did.
And then,
He went outside and then I think we went, or no, that was when we were on recess. He came into the school and walked around the school, but I wouldn't put it past him. I'd be
You
careful.
look that fight or flight.
and then
That's-
he was in the,
Yeah.
between the two doors at
That
sixth
day
grade.
that I went and got him, he was shockingly pretty easy for me to get here.
Good.
I was
Sometimes it's
like,
just a
yeah.
different
I
person.
thank
that
God.
feeling, too.
And
I'm like,
sometimes
oh,
it's
you're
just a
gonna come
different
with me.
person too.
well,
Yeah,
he was,
that-
yeah.
Like,
Being
And
in that
so he was
second
out there by
hour.
himself
Wait
because
till-
Bloomquist didn't
Oh,
call.
I know.
She was
I
next
know.
door. I'm like, can you just walk
I
away?
agree.
So I'm like,
I-
oh, hey buddy, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why don't we go talk about it in the resource room?
Yep.
Well, and sometimes,
right.
like, it just takes a different person.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
absolutely,
I mean,
like
you
a
could
zap.
be, you could be arguing with this kid and somebody else could walk in and say the same thing you did.
Doesn't
and
it make you so
Oh,
mad?
It does.
Oh, it
gosh,
does.
I have sat there
As you
for
were saying.
half an hour, 45 minutes with the
Wait.
same student,
Yep,
and then like
wait,
trying
yep,
to reason, someone
yep.
else walks in
Yep,
and that's
yep.
all better, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, thank
Can
you.
you do this for me?
And I
Sure.
think
Boom.
they're so safe with you guys that work with them all the time. I do. I
Yeah.
think I do. 'Cause no.
It's that safe zone. I can do anything and they're still gonna love me.
Yeah.
It is. That's going to be there for me.
Well,
But somebody
and the
knew
funny-
I got it performed.
the funny thing is like with the Summerfelds, like he goes home and explodes.
Yeah.
Where we have a lot of kids that come to school and explode
Absolutely.
because it's not okay for them to do it at home.
That,
Absolutely.
or they're not put in positions where they're required to explode. In that, they're allowed to do what they want.
Yeah. So they'll
So-
leave the parents alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
parents, they've molded the parents that way.
Mhm.
And the parents are just exhausted or
Oh,
tired.
and it doesn't
or-
get any better.
I
once they
can't
get there.
imagine.
Right.
I'm
I
scared
really
for this next
can't.
generation, I really am. It scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of it I understand if there's an issue or whatever, but like at the high school,
Yeah.
if they don't get their work done on time, it's okay. They can make up the work or if they don't get it done, they got summer school. When you get out in the real world and have
Right.
a job, you don't do that, you get fired.
I thought they were getting rid of summer school at the high school.
Not unless they have makeup work. If they have makeup work,
I
last
I don't know.
Last
that.
I heard, if they had work to still churn in that they didn't do throughout the year, they get to go.
Thankfully, we haven't had it.
They come to me neither. Thank goodness. And I heard ninth grade was the hardest.
Glad mine all got through and done.
I really thought 7th grade was the worst for
Oh.
both of my kids. It was
That's a
the
big
worst.
transition.
No, they say
Yeah.
as far as work goes, ninth grade's the hardest.
Oh,
And
I
luckily
know.
Terry's got A's and C's. So
I don't know, Megan's having a pretty
Big
tough year, but she's taking some college courses, so.
She's
So is
I think that
Morgan.
makes a difference, yeah.
Morgan is too.
Yeah.
And
But at that point, it's kind of a choice, so if they want to do it, they're more likely to.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you guys start thinking about what you want to target for next time. Just thought I'd try this, but I'm welcome to just to do Q&As. I can always bring stuff in because I'm always learning different strategies. I do like it's just I like her analogy. I don't know. Don't shake the pot, shake the pot. You know what can we say? So if you see me kind of getting ahead of kids, Terry, you're shaking the Mountain Dew. Let me know.
Same here.
Maybe it'd be a good idea just to carry a bottle of pop.
Yeah.
just say the word. Pop.
We'll all have pop.
Or
That's
explode.
our
Pop.
Why are we all carrying pop?
We need to get little Mountain Dew keychains.
Yeah, there we go.
It's
Oh,
You know what
good
I have
one.
at home?
Good one.
I don't know if I have. I don't think I have any other ones, but because I use it all the time. I have a little chapstick that's like.
Mountain Dew?
Yeah, I think it came from the.
You have Dr. Pepper and Coke.
They
and
used
yeah,
to-
they had that when we were
Gluten
kids.
free,
Yeah.
I think, but-
Yep.
Oh,
Remember
gluten-free?
that?
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie Bell or whatever that
Bonnie
was.
Bell. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
I know, right?
Well-
I think my biggest thing right now is
Yeah.
like juggling the two boys at
Yeah.
the same time with
Oh,
mostly like morning is pretty well taken care of.
Yep, yep.
I had an issue this morning where Jose wasn't there, but I was
Yes.
outside waiting for him because I had gotten the other one in,
Yep.
and then he came back outside and I didn't know
He
that
did?
he was outside, and so but I talked to Wendy about that to take care of that. But like the end of the day is like
And
this morning it was like getting, or this afternoon it was getting.
oh yeah, he
I
was
got-
off it. Yeah. I think
he was
Jose was.
he was off. Well, they both were,
Really?
and so
Yeah.
I got him
A lot of
ready to
kids
go.
were. It was a weird day.
Well, and it's coming back from.
Yeah,
Vacation.
yeah.
We
yeah.
just did the.
Yep.
Hey, we got 4 straight weeks though now.
Yeah.
So right when we get them in,
Before Christmas.
right, yeah,
Or
4
holiday
straight
So
weeks.
in 3 weeks, everything will be
19 more days.
awesome.
So then we'll have one
Sure.
perfect
You'll
week.
have-
And
Right.
then we're gonna have a break.
So do
It's
you?
because I do a braid on checkout, and then so I have because Anne
Yes.
can do it, but she's
Can
been
do
too
Braden's
busy.
because she's been busy
She's
with the other
so
one.
I've
Okay.
been
Okay.
doing his because
Okay.
sometimes Jose is down here, so that
Yep.
helps.
Okay.
But so like the end of the day today, I was standing in the hallway waiting for Jose to come back
Yep.
outside of Kelly's room, so I could see the other one in the
Yep.
classroom. So as soon as he came back,
Yes.
and they got ready to go. I got him dressed and ready. Then I went down and got Brayden
Because
ready and dressed.
they take first grade out every day.
Yeah, but the teachers aren't on the same like they go out at the
Yeah.
same time frame, but like one goes out 5 minutes earlier than the other, and I don't
Yeah.
know who's gonna go
Oh yeah.
first. So
Oh,
it's
for
just like,
sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can you ask Grandma on Wednesdays to come pick him up here, Jose?
Yeah, I'll try to remember to.
Okay. And then what are we gonna do with Michael and them on?
Well, and I
Wednesdays
can
then?
walk him back to the classroom because I'll walk.
Jose's not in here on Wednesdays.
I thought last Wednesday, you told me you wanted him down here and to have Grandma come pick him up here.
That
on
was
Wednesdays.
just for Wednesday.
Just on
just-
Wednesdays.
Just for that
That
day,
Wednesday,
because
okay.
otherwise, I mean, that's up to you. Are you still?
Well, I was going to probably bring them down here, but I can leave with both of them.
Okay.
I would put Jose over here and Brayden
Okay.
over there because
Okay.
she always puts on a movie.
Okay.
And then I can leave with both of them
Okay.
and walk around,
Okay.
as long as they're both.
Because I have to have her check out
Michael.
that kindergartner. I can't change that on Wednesday.
No, and I should be able
And
to
you,
walk
so
both
you'll
of
be
them.